latest on Wendy Williams' health. Former talk show host was rushed to the hospital after she dropped a note out of her window with a plea for help. Eva Pilgrim here with the details. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning, George. Wendy Williams has been very clear. She does not think she needs to be in a care facility, and she has been very actively trying to get out.
Today, I've got a story that's both wild and eye-opening. And if you've been following Wendy Williams' saga, you're in for a big update. So here's what's been going on. Not too long ago, Wendy Williams was taken to Lenox Hill Hospital for a test that could change everything. Now, if you're like me, you know that for months, Wendy's been stuck in what feels like a prison. She's been confined to the memory unit of a facility in New York City, a place where she can't just leave whenever she wants. No phone calls, no internet, no visitors, nothing. It's been a really tough situation, and many of us have been wondering how she's really doing behind all these restrictions. At the hospital, Wendy sat down with a psychiatrist who ran a simple memory test. Just 10 questions, nothing fancy, just to check to see if she could remember where she was and what was happening around her. And here's the kicker. Wendy aced the test. All 10 questions answered correctly. For those who might not be aware, this test is a big deal. It shows that despite everything, Wendy is fully aware, her memory is intact, and she's not as incapacitated as some might have thought. This result is huge because the whole point of her being on that locked floor was based on the idea that she couldn't remember or take care of herself. But clearly, that isn't the case. It's a game changer and has a lot of people, including her friends and supporters, thinking that maybe it's time to rethink how she's being treated. One of those supporters is Gina Lisa Monterosa, a real lifeline for Wendy through all of this. Gina has been right there helping Wendy navigate these crazy circumstances. She even helped set up Wendy's hospital visit, which was wrapped up in a big investigation involving Adult Protective Services and even caught the eye of the NYPD. Gina's been on the front lines, and she shared just how important this test result really is. According to her, this isn't just a win for Wendy's memory. It's a win for her rights and her dignity. Now, if you've been following the news, you know that Wendy's current guardianship isn't just about keeping her safe. It's wrapped up in a tangled web of legal and personal issues. The guardianship was supposed to protect her, but many believe it's more like a long-term sentence. Wendy has said time and again that she wants out of it. In fact, she's been pushing for a change in her living situation, a move to a less restrictive environment, or even an end to the guardianship altogether. Unfortunately, the legal system isn't that simple. Wendy isn't allowed to choose her own attorney. She has to stick with the one on her case, and that really complicates things. Gina explained that while the test result is a big step forward, there are still more tests coming up. Wendy is still in the hospital, not just for this one test, but to undergo further evaluations. These extra tests might help build a stronger case for her to be moved to a place where she can have a little more freedom, places where she doesn't feel locked away like a prisoner. It's all very up in the air right now, and everyone is just waiting to see what happens next. There's also a lot of talk about how the media is involved in all this. Wendy has been very open with her side of the story. She's even done a documentary and made appearances on popular shows like The Breakfast Club. It doesn't seem like there's any polished media strategy here, just a real raw effort to get her voice heard. And honestly, that authenticity is part of what makes her story so compelling. One of the more puzzling parts of this whole situation is how Wendy's guardian has handled things. When the guardian visited the hospital, reports say she didn't even talk to Wendy. She just stood outside the room without a word. That kind of behavior raises a lot of questions. A good guardian should be in touch with their ward, someone who's looking out for her best interests. Instead, it seems like the guardian might be more focused on protecting her own reputation or avoiding any accountability, especially with all the legal issues swirling around. And speaking of legal issues, there's also a lot of chatter about a lifetime lawsuit linked to the guardianship. Many believe that the guardian might be clinging to this restrictive situation as a way to dodge responsibility for what happened during Wendy's documentary, a time when she was clearly vulnerable. It's a complex mess, and right now nobody really has all the answers. Despite all these challenges, there's a silver lining. Wendy's been doing a lot better in terms of her sobriety. Her team has made it clear that staying alcohol-free is a top priority. Wendy knows how important it is to maintain her sobriety, and her family and supporters are right there with her, setting up steps and barriers to make sure she stays on track. It's one of the few areas where there's a clear positive direction in all of this. So, where does this leave Wendy? For now, she's in a safe place at the hospital, surrounded by people who care about her well-being. There are more tests to come, and with each one, there's hope that she might finally break free from a system that's been holding her back. It's a long road ahead, and the legal battles aren't over yet. But this test result has given a lot of people a reason to be hopeful that maybe, just maybe, Wendy can reclaim her independence and start living life on her own terms again. Before we wrap up, I want to let you know that this isn't the only crazy story coming your way. Later on, we're diving into another wild tale about a Ghost Adventures star whose wife was allegedly involved in a hitman plot. Trust me, you don't want to miss that. Thanks for sticking with me through this deep dive into Wendy's story. If you found this as intriguing as I did, hit that like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about Wendy's situation and where you believe this is headed. Until next time, take care and stay curious.